Welcome back to another episode of the Stat Sheet. You already know who it is, your boy Naji, and I'm with my man Alex. Talk to the people, Alex.
What's going on, people? We back again. Episode 2. We're gonna recap a fun, exciting Sunday, week 1 NFL. Well, without further ado, let's hop into game of the year, maybe. Dolphins Chargers.
Game of the week, probably.
Definitely that, but man, early consideration for game of the year.
It was a pretty intense game, high scoring game. I think we knew already when we saw the lineups that this is going to be a great game. And I just want to say they put it through. Tua, man, was a monster. He dominated, but it's kind of easy when you have the two fastest receivers in the league. Not much defense going on, but when there's not much defense, then it's going to be a lot of offense, and that makes for a good game. Tua threw for over 400 yards. I think that's the fourth most for a QB in a season opener. And Tyreek Hill had over 200 yards. I think he had like the third most for a receiver in the season opener. So great game for them all the way around. And Tua's the only QB probably to have a good game actually yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of poor performances. I was disappointed in the Chargers defense. In our predictions, I thought Chargers could pull it out. I knew this was going to be an offensive game. I just thought the Chargers, they have a lot of talent on defense, and they don't know how to make use of it. I mean, J.C. Jackson came back, and he looked terrible. He did get an interception, but man, he was getting cooked by Tyreek Hill left and right.
If we're being real though, when you have you can't teach speed, right? So it's not like you're guarding. I'll give you some other top tier receivers like Devontae Adams, right, or Cooper Kupp. You're guarding Tariq Hill and Jalen Waddle, dude. They're gone, and you can't press them. And for some reason, they feel like let's press them. No, you can't do that, and you can't double one because what you're gonna do with the other. So I just feel like what could they really do?
Yeah, a lot of talent. What I was really most surprised about, I talked about the Dolphins missing their star tackles, Ron Armstead. Um, their offensive line was beat up, and the Chargers with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack didn't sack Tua one time. Tua kept a clean pocket. There wasn't too many clean pockets on Sunday, but Tua did not get sacked. The Chargers have, again, their defense was trash last year with all this talent, looking trash again. Man, great game. Tua, can't say I didn't expect it because he dominated my Ravens last year. 466 yards is crazy.
When healthy, bro, this guy. I mean, they were talking about MVP front runner. I mean, of course, when this is week 1 and you play better than every other quarterback, and that's largely because every other quarterback that we thought would go great didn't really do great. But when you play like this as a QB and you have this team around you, how can you really lose? I don't, so I think no Jalen Ramsey, right? Got Eli back there. Xavier Howard. You expect a little bit on the defensive side, Bradley Chubb, and you're expecting that defense to do what it does. And I think in the AFC it's kind of hard to have a good defense because the AFC has great offenses. So in a conference where it's elite offenses and you have a solid defense, how well is your offense? And their offense is looking like it's the best in the league right now. Of course, you might want to with their run game a little bit. Jeff Wilson's hurt, and Raheem Mostert is a good running back, but you can definitely improve. But best offense is looking like right here, and they're looking like they're pushing for that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins definitely are an elite team. They'll definitely make a case for the division. Obviously, we got to see the Bills and Jets play tonight, but the Dolphins defense needs a lot of work. I expect a lot out of the Chargers passing game, but the Chargers ran all over the Dolphins. Eckler, 16 carries, 117 yards and touchdown. And even the backup, Josh Kelly, 16 carries, 91 yards and touchdown. If you have two running backs on the same team, nearly get 100 yards on you, got to figure something out in that front seven.
I think last year it was kind of similar, right? You can run all over this team, which is crazy because, like you said, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, and those are big names, So I don't know what's going on. You think it could be like the defensive coordinator or something calling the plays, or I
Well, I
don't
think
know.
the Chargers case, I don't like Brandon Staley as a head coach. Last year he was always going for it on fourth down in terrible situations. Um, I don't think he's a good fit as a head coach there. I don't know too much about the defensive coordinator, so I don't want to speak like I understand everything that's going on, but I think Brandon Staley probably on his if the Chargers make the playoffs, that's cool. But if they can't win a playoff game, I don't see how they retain Staley, especially if they don't make the playoffs. I mean, this team is talented, top to bottom. Something's got to change if they can't figure it
In,
out this
in
year.
my opinion, they played good. They just got outplayed by a team that played great.
Yeah,
I think they play any other team this Sunday, they win. Right? You just happen to play the team,
yeah.
the hottest team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, with probably the best receiving core. So they just drew the bat end of the stick week one. They'll bounce back for sure, and we'll see what they do week two. Because these QBs, I mean, these are two QBs who actually did the thing yesterday. And that brings us to another topic, man. QBs who did not do the thing, QBs who disappointed, QBs who have set the bar and then went well under it. And Alex, I know you have somebody you want to talk about, so let's get into it.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, I'm a Ravens fan, but man, if I can get a chance to hate on Joe Burrow, I'll do it because man, highest paid player in the league, and he went 14 for 31, 82 yards, easily the lowest out of any quarterback on Sunday. That's lower than Josh Dobbs on the Cardinals, who is not a starter. I mean, he shouldn't be. 82 yards against the Browns. I mean, credit to the Browns defense, but the Bengals offensive line looking like the same Bengals offensive line of old. Jamar Chase had like 5 catches after all the trash talking he did against the Browns. T. Higgins put up 0, and I would know he's on most of my fantasy teams. 0 points, 0 receptions, nothing. Didn't even come to play. And then even on the other side, Deshaun Watson. The Browns handled the Bengals 24-3, but man, Deshaun Watson does not look like the old Deshaun Watson. I seen him underthrow a couple of deep balls, just 154 yards for him, a touchdown and a pick. But yeah, Bengals, man, outplayed. Only 142 total yards with the highest paid player at quarterback is
Not to mention, this is Joe Burrow's first game under 100 yards. So it was a pretty terrible game. But if we're bringing up terrible performances by quarterbacks, I have to bring up the worst quarterback in the NFL, worst starting quarterback in the NFL, Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is garbage. He is bad. I think this is one of my first games watching. You know, I love D Hop. They got Derrick Henry. You're going against a great Saints defense, and you want to see what they do. So let's tune into this game, right? Should be a pretty interesting game. And it was a pretty interesting game. Ryan Tannehill makes terrible decisions. I've seen him overthrow. I've seen him underthrow. His pocket presence is terrible. The pocket's collapsing. You have a way out. Ryan Tannehill doesn't want a way out. He wants to back up into his offensive lineman, so the defensive lineman can grab him and slam him down. And it's credit, of course, DeMario Davis and the Saints are dogs, right? I mean, they're going to do their thing. But when you're not good, you don't have good pocket presence, when you're not accurate, it's going to be way worse for you. I feel bad for D-Hop because I think he said he wanted to go to a team that had a good defense and a good chance to win, a good defense and a good chance to win a title, right? A Super Bowl. This is not that team at all. And I just think that they need to find something to do with Ryan Tannehill. Yes, 16 of 34, 198 yards. Okay, 198 yards, right? 3 interceptions, 3 picks. And they were bad passes. He's throwing it to D-Hop, and you want to throw it up to D-Hop, right? If you want to give him that one-on-one. It's 3 guys around D-Hop. and he throws it straight to where Marshawn Lattimore can get it twice. So Ryan Tannehill, bad QB. A couple of other QBs on my list. I just think they had bad days. You already brought up the Joe Burrow, 14 to 31, 82 yards. He had an injury this offseason during training camp. So you wonder if that could be affecting him. But you also got to know that, hey, you're on a team with a bad offensive line, and you go get Orlando Brown Jr. and nothing still has changed. That's big, right? Because you're like, we're investing all this money in this guy. We're going to get somebody who can help possibly change this offensive line around, and it does nothing at all. So big concerns. You got to worry about his health because he's always getting sacked, right? And I'm talking about playoffs, regular season. He keeps dealing with this. I don't know much longer his career can go. So it's bad playing with him, but it's also bad on that offensive line majorly. And the front office has to do something, or they're going to end up losing Joe Burrow either to injury or he's just going to leave the organization. Lamar Jackson, I don't want to say he had a bad game. He only threw the ball 22 times, right? You have Odell, you have Rashad Bateman, you have Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews didn't play, but I feel like you should be throwing that ball more than 22 times. He was 17 to 22, right? 169 yards, one pick. I don't think his performance was terrible. I think when Mark Andrews come back, it's going to be better. I do think they need to go find something to do about J.K. Dobbins out for the year. So you might need to go dabble in the market to see who got two good running backs and see if you can get you one. I know Kareem Hunt's still available. I think is Kareem Hunt still available in the free agency?
Yep.
Right. Kareem Hunt's a good running back in my opinion. I think he can get the job done for the Ravens. So I just think trust Lamar a little bit more. Kind of give him that leeway to make those mistakes because he's never really had weapons like this, and he make those mistakes, he'll learn from them. So not too much slander for Lamar. I think you're gonna bounce back. You got a bunch of talent, and target Odell more. Odell got like one or two targets. Odell needs to get targeted way more. It's Odell Beckham Jr. And then another my final on this list because you already brought up Watson. I'm not going to talk about Watson. I want to talk about Daniel Jones. Poor performance by Daniel Jones, right? But he went against probably the best defense in the league. And he probably has the worst offensive line in the league. So when you have Michael Parsons on that defense, your offensive line is getting paid to just sit there with helmets and uniforms on. You know what's going to happen. And 15 to 28, 104 yards, 2 interceptions. They have Gilmore back there with Diggs. It's a nightmare for you already. You really don't have any receivers to throw the ball to. You got Slayton and you got tight end Waller, who almost didn't play due to the hamstring injury. And I like Danny Dimes. It was bad weather out there. Not really going to blame that on him, but I just think they need a new offensive line and they need some weapons. And I think maybe that'll help with that issue because that defense was back there on him. He was under pressure the whole game, so not too much going to blame him too much, but nonetheless, he did have a bad game.
Yeah, I also want to touch on Jalen Hurts, man. He didn't have a terrible game, but he did have a crucial fumble late in the fourth quarter that almost cost the Eagles the win. I mean, the Patriots almost came back and beat the Eagles after the first quarter. It looked like the Eagles had it handily. Eagles look sloppy. A lot of teams look sloppy in week one. Yeah, back to the Daniel Jones thing, just under duress, got sacked 7 times. Dallas defense and special teams look crazy good. Lamar Jackson, yeah, sloppy. Offensive line, like a lot of offensive lines, did not protect as good as they should have, but sloppy with the football. Yeah, I mean, Zay Flowers, though, 9 catches, 78 yards. One of the top rookies this week. And I know you got some rookies you want to talk about, some breakout players you want to talk about.
Zay Flowers was definitely one. I do think they were kind of trying to force him into that offense a little bit, but nonetheless, a great talent. 9 receptions for 78 yards. Very impressed. Very impressed. But I think Anthony Richardson probably was the biggest rookie standout to me. 24-37, right? I mean, not the best completion rate, but 223 yards of touchdowns and an interception, right? This is his first game. And I think he can run the ball, he can pass the ball. And I mean, of course, you want to see what that team's like if Jonathan Taylor even comes there again. But he's a probably so far as far as QB performances go, he's probably top 5 that we've seen so far. His upside is huge. When I mean huge, it's huge. And he doesn't really have that star wide receiver. You like Pittman and what they got. He's a good wide receiver, right? But you can always improve. I just think that what I've been hearing about him so far is true. Sweet one, of course, we got more to see. Could be a fluke. But if his career is anything like this, and of course we intend on improving, the future is bright for him. And then Jordan Addison. I mean, you're over there playing with TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson, right? So you're not going to get as much attention. And the thing is, when the ball comes to you, what can you do? Well, 4 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown says this is a good wide receiver too. And I think so far what I've seen out of a lot of rookies, even Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Some of the guys who Bijan Robinson, some of the guys who aren't even getting as much touches as they should or as attention as they should, when they do get the opportunity to go out there and show what they've got, I think they've showed out and they've balled out. And I think that this rookie class is going to surprise a lot of people when they're coming to take over because they're amazing.
Yeah, I got a couple of rookies that really stood out to me. Yeah, one of them was Anthony Richardson, but I got a couple other ones. I want to talk about, correct me if I'm wrong saying his name, Puka Naku on the LA Rams.
Yeah, sir.
He was, I believe, a 5th or 6th round rookie, NFL debut. Cooper Kupp's out, filling in, big shoes to fill, obviously. He wasn't even, I mean, you got Van Jefferson over there and Ben Skronik, but Naku comes in, gets 15 targets, 10 catches, 119 yards, and the Rams make it look easy against the Seahawks, which I did not expect. And I mean, like I said, he wasn't even like a first few rounds rookie. He's a late round pick showing up, and I mean, that's one of the best performances of the week, easily. I mean,
yeah.
And then same goes for Will Anderson on the Texans defense. I'm a Ravens fan. I was watching the Texans-Ravens game. Will Anderson is going to be a problem. He was picked, I think 3rd overall. Man, he got, I think, 6 or 7 pressures on Lamar. I mean, he was feasting on our right tackle, Morgan Moses, easily. The Texans got some good young talent on that team. Anderson did get a sack, I'm pretty sure. Man, he was back there, felt like every play. Big reason why Lamar didn't play as good as he should have. I mean, when you're a rookie getting back there, he was expected to be a really good talent coming out of college. And, man, he's proven already. I know it's week 1, but, man, he looked really good out there. But, yeah. Let's go to
you want to talk about some breakout players too? Because
yeah,
we are doing the rookies.
Let's talk about some breakout players, man. You got some for us?
Oh man, I want to start off with Brandon Ayuk. Dude, dominated. I mean, that team has a lot. So to not only play good, but play great, dude had 8 receptions, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dude is a monster. Somebody told me that they think he was going to have a breakout year this year, right? I'm like, I guess. You got Debo over there. I think Debo going to come back do his thing, right? Kittle over there. Kittle going to hold it down. And McCaffrey, right? He's going to be everywhere. So you got a lot to deal with. I don't know if he's really going to do it. It's week 1. It's week 1, and he's done it. Dude is a complete beast. And this isn't just like, oh, he had a good game. I don't expect him to be that good. The decline is going to happen. No, this guy is able to do this and then some every week. So the 49ers are coming in. He's a big part of that offense, if not the biggest. So you definitely got to worry about him. And Aaron Jones. Oh man, I do not like Andy Packer. I'm a Bears fan, and I do not like it. But the first 2 to 3 plays, right? I saw Aaron Jones running. And I swear, every time I stopped watching the game, it could be for a quarter, 2 quarters. Aaron Jones' numbers stayed the same, but when I watched, he wanted to eat. So, first few plays, he was running and he made it look easy, 8, 9 yards, right? I'm like, yo, this guy is a monster. Like, can y'all stop? I don't care what happens. Can we stop Aaron Jones? And they used him perfectly to set up the pass game, too. Shout out Jordan Love and that offensive line because they did the thing. So, 9 carries, 41 yards, right? 1 touchdown. Cool. 2 receptions for 86 yards and another touchdown. Great blocking, great speed. He's very explosive. Amazing. And I think that you have to watch out for him to be top 5 running back this year. I'm not going to say the best because, you got Charleston Eckler's, you got your Derrick Henry's. But Aaron Jones will be a top 5 running back this year. They have the offensive line for it. I like what I saw from Jordan Love. And if the passing, you only did it against the Bears. We don't have a good defense. So, we added some pieces to it, but nonetheless, we don't have a good defense. So, you want to see more of what Jordan Love can do. But so far, I like it. And if he keeps doing that, and Aaron Jones is going to have a season that he hasn't had yet, right? And then, of course, we want to talk about Calvin Ridley, but he had a good game. I don't want to say it was a breakout, but he definitely did his thing. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. 9 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. When you think of that team, what do you think of? Think of Devontae Adams. They got a good running back too, don't they? Yeah, they got Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
But Jacoby Myers said, hey, don't forget about me. And he was another big reason they fought their way to the comeback against the Broncos. So, those are my breakout. And these I don't know if Jacoby Myers do this all year long, right? Of course, you got to worry about him. He's a good receiver. He did better than Devontae Adams. Like, how often are you going to expect that? Of course, you got to know that they're going to guard Devontae, but they've been doing it for years, and they can't guard Devontae. But you want to see if he can keep this up. But nonetheless, this week alone, these guys, I'm going to say their names again, dude. Brandon Ayuk, beast, might happen all year long. Jacoby Myers, you don't know, but he's definitely capable. Aaron Jones, all year long, and then some, especially with that great offensive line. Yeah, they got to do a running back with him and A.J. Dillon, but Aaron Jones is running back 1 for a reason. And then Calvin Ridley with the Jacksonville Jaguars is back, and he's showing y'all that he is that guy. And those are my breakout players of week 1.
That's a good list. Definitely stole some of mine. But man, I want to talk about another Rams receiver, Tutu Atwell.
Mhm.
Just talked about. Some of the unlikely sources out of LA filling in for Cooper Kupp, and they're making big plays. And the Seahawks rather, they have a good secondary. I think their top pick Witherspoon didn't play, but I know they got Tyreek Woolen back there, had a great rookie season last year. But Atwell, 6 catches, 119 yards. Matt Stafford looked like Matt Stafford from the Super Bowl year. The Rams might be all right. Everyone kind of downplayed them, especially with that Cooper Kupp injury. But if you got guys like Naku and Atwell, and like I said, Van Jefferson over there, if they can fill in how they were, Rams might be all right. Another guy I got, it's 2 guys really on the Falcons. One is a rookie, Bijan Robinson, and then Tyler Algier. Both of them, they split carries most of the game, but Algier got 2 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson had a crazy receiving touchdown for a rookie. It's his first game. He's making players miss left and right. Falcons know how to run the football. They still don't know how to pass the football. I'm pretty sure Desmond Ridder had a not such a good game. He barely cracked 100 yards, but the Falcons know how to run the football, and that's a lethal duo right there. Top pick Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, who, by the way, last year pretty sure had 1,000 yards. So you bring in Bijan, compliments him pretty well. Those 2 are going to do pretty well for the Falcons. I think they still need to figure out a quarterback for the future. But if those 2 keep playing like that, they might have a chance in the NFC South, especially with, all the other teams a little bit average. Saints and Bucks did pick up a win, but it wasn't convincing by any means. So I think any of those teams in the NFC South are in contention for the division. I think that's really all I got for my breakout players. I mean, I got a couple other Rams players that are. I got Kyron Williams, running back for the Rams. Had a couple of touchdowns, carried the ball 15 times, 52 yards. Nothing flashy, but man, he looked better than Cam Akers. Cam Akers just had 22 carries, 29 yards. I mean, he's getting about a yard a carry, and that's terrible. I think Kyron Williams could make a case for taking over the starting role eventually over there in LA, but Rams are definitely my surprise of the week. I think that's going to lead us into our recap and some of our predictions. And man, I had a terrible week for predictions, man.
Well, before we get right into that, I do want to say also, shout out to Stephon Gilmore. Came over there and got him a pick yesterday, first game on. So shout out to him.
Shout out the entire Dallas defense, special teams.
Oh yeah,
pretty good. Let's look at some of our picks, man. And I know we covered this in episode 1. Man, it looked like a good start for me picking the Lions. As you can see, I'm at the bottom of our group here. I try to get flashy with the Colts and Panthers picks. Same with the Steelers, I guess. It's just not good. But Naji made out a little better. Got 3 more points than me.
man, they got me in third though. We got the same record. Can I get the jump on him? Can I get the 1 point up? First of all, we all picked the Ravens, Washington, Eagles, and Cowboys, and the Seahawks, right? For the most part, we got all those correct. Why did you pick the Colts? I don't know what you thought was happening there.
Well, I thought, honestly, I thought the Colts would come out and get the upset because I seen a stat that the Colts have won, I think, 5 straight at home against the Jaguars. But there was another stat. I think they've lost like I forget the number, but it's a good amount of week 1 openers. So obviously it worked against me. Just try to get flashy, try to get some points because, we're picking a lot of the same teams here. Colts didn't look bad. I mean, I thought they were in contention for the win. They definitely were. But Jaguars just got a lot of talent on that team.
The Colts are up and coming. Jacksonville is here. So I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I think some of the other big surprises, Vikings losing to Tampa Bay.
It wasn't really a big surprise to me. I mean, yeah, I went for Vikings, of course, but nonetheless, dude, Tampa doesn't have a bad defense. We've been seeing what Baker could do ever since he went to the Rams last year, right? We all know what he is capable of, and he has the weapons over there. You got Rashad White running the ball too, better than Leonard Fournette was last year. So I'm not surprised if they do it, and I have no faith in Minnesota. Like I said, I think they're overrated. So.
Yeah, I do think they're a bit overrated, but I mean, their offense looked good, but they did have 3 turnovers. And Tampa Bay kept the ball clean. I mean, they did what they had to do. Nothing flashy. It's not going to be the Tom Brady Buccaneers, but they might be able to hold their own, like I just said, with the NFC South teams. One of them's going to have to make it out of the division. It could be any of them. Same goes for the Falcons-Panthers game. I picked the Panthers trying to get flashy. I don't know. I thought Bryce Young would come out and really ball, and he didn't. He had a couple of picks.
It's not even. I got no faith in Bryce Young, but you don't really have no receiving core either. DJ Chark didn't play. I mean, you got Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders, but nothing over there really impresses me. And then when I look at the Falcons, I see the new secondary. I see Bijan Robinson. I like Mac Hollins. I don't know why they got him. Who was Drake London? I think
Drake London had 0 catches, by the way.
He got 1 target though too.
Terrible. They need a quarterback over there badly.
Yeah. I don't know what the Falcons, but I just know that for sure that they're better than the Panthers. Bare minimum. So
had a couple of dumb picks, picking the Steelers, thinking maybe at home they'd upset the 49ers.
Let me tell you why he picked the Steelers. You see this guy right above Alex's name, Jason V? 8 points is the biggest Steelers fan, and he will talk of a big game that gets you. He got me to draft Najee Harris. Biggest mistake of my life. He got people to draft Pickens and Deontay Johnson. Biggest mistake of theirs. Let me tell you, and then he tried to say, oh, well, you need to understand this. 49ers, the 49ers usually start off bad and they're going against a good team. No. It doesn't matter what they usually do. What they're going to do is come out and show you that they are who they are. Yes, you have a good defense. They have a great offense. In my opinion, the Steelers offense have shown you nothing. So all I gotta say, JV, stop it now. I don't ever want to hear nothing about them boys again, ever. And don't ever disrespect my Bears when your team playing like this.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Najee Harris. I didn't see too much of the game because let's face it was a blowout at one point, so didn't really have my interest. But man, Najee Harris had like 6 carries, had like 2 catches. I mean, he was irrelevant. Credit to that 49ers defense,
But
maybe the
also,
best in the
though,
league.
why
But
is Najee Harris only getting 6 carries? He's Najee Harris. I know he's not. I don't think he's the best running back. I think he's huge, physical. But you got to give him more touches than that. That is what I think. 6 carries out of the whole game, I think it's disrespectful.
I think the Steelers' offense that was supposed to be brand new and it looks the exact same. So I mean, we'll move on here to pick the Bengals. Joe Burrow is garbage. We'll move on to the Packers Bears. Man, your Bears really let me down because you, just like Jason had me convinced with the Steelers, you had me convinced with the Bears. And the Packers, it might be a new wave with Jordan Love. It might just be another good quarterback over there in Green Bay.
Look, I'm gonna just keep it real, child, man. We suck. We just plain old suck. Shout out to Justin Fields. Shout out to them for finally let him off the leash and let him throw that ball. Like what I did like what I saw, but at the end of the day, you can't compete where you do not compare. Their defense is levels above ours. Their running game levels above ours. Offensive line levels above ours. You know, I feel like we got a better QB. If you put Justin Fields on that Packers team with that O line, I mean, I feel like the same thing could happen, maybe better. You know, so shout out to Jay Fields, but not the Bears.
I do want to talk about my team real quick, the Ravens, man. Yeah, we picked up the win over the Texans. Nothing flashy. Did what we had to do. I just want to talk about how unlucky we are, man. We came away that game with 4 significant injuries. J.K. Dobbins, out for the year already, torn Achilles, game 1. Marcus Williams, our safety, who before coming to the Ravens only missed like a couple of games in his career. He missed a chunk last season. He's going to miss a chunk more this season with a pec injury. Still seeing if it's complete torn pec or not. And then 2 injuries on the offensive line. Our starting center, Tyler Linderbaum, and tackle Ronnie Stanley, all with ankle and knee sprains. And it's just, we played the Texans and we won, but at what cost, man? Terrible. Every year we get brutal injuries. It's a shame. That's enough of that. We all got the Eagles. The Eagles almost got upset by the Patriots. They held on.
I mean, people are surprised, but it's like Bill Belichick and that defense, they're good. All right. So I feel like you're still in the NFL, anything can happen. And this is not a bad team. This is not a bad team by any means. So I'm not surprised at all.
A little surprised by the Rams over the Seahawks, but man, Rams look solid. They didn't let the Seahawks touch the ball. Geno Smith barely had 100 yards. Rams controlled that game.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Talked about Chargers, Dolphins. Credit to you, man. Only one to pick Dolphins. Good on you, man. Good on you.
Hey, man, you can't teach speed. I'm telling y'all now, I'll never bet against those boys unless they're going against either the Bears or Chiefs. Remember that.
And we got battle of average right here, man. Broncos, Raiders. Nothing flashy out of that game. You know, Jacoby Myers had a good game. Two good defenses. Russell Wilson looked all right in the first half, and then he kind of turned into the Russell Wilson of last year in the second half, and they lost a close game. Jimmy G 1-0 in his time with the Raiders. So, and then
I need to start giving Devontae Adams the ball more, though. All that Jacoby Myers has got to stop.
It would go the Cowboys Giants, and there's something that sticks out here, man. Because I'm pretty sure episode 1 you picked the Giants, but I'm seeing right here that you picked the Cowboys. I think you made the right call. I think you made the right call.
Look, I'm gonna talk a good game, but at the end of the day, there's some knowledge up here. Like the Giants, right? I think I did. I actually did this. We did this before that podcast, so I think my mind just changed going into it. And then right before the game, I was talking to my homeboy. He asked me who I thought would win. I said the Cowboys. So back and forth between the two. I thought I could expect more, from I thought their defense will hold up, and their defense only allowed 26 points, right? Still ain't great, but the Cowboys defense scored 14 alone, and I ain't gonna lie, the Cowboys offense actually looked a little better than what people are saying. Dak was throwing some pretty solid balls. They were getting dropped. I've seen some drop passes. Yeah, he ain't perfect, but I don't think that was bad either. So I know for sure I saw 2 or 3. One of them was a touchdown to his tight end in the end zone, went straight through his hands. So Dak has placed that ball pretty well. So while Dak might be getting slandered, I'll say week 1, great game by him. Numbers might not show it, but he did great.
And I don't think the Cowboys offense really had to do much because after the first quarter, I mean, the Dallas defense and special teams already had them up double digits. The Cowboys just kind of did what they had to do. And I know weather was a factor late in that game. It was weather was a factor in a lot of these games, a lot of rainy games, but Cowboys look strong. I only got one more game left. Monday night preview coming on tonight. Bills at Jets, man. Looks like we both got the Bills winning. How you feel about this game?
My mind don't change. Only thing that scares me is that Sauce Gardner will be guarding Stephon Diggs, but I got faith. I think Josh going to throw 2 picks. I think Aaron Rodgers might throw 1, but I still see Josh Allen pulling it out. 2 good defenses, 2 good secondaries. But I mean, I'm not going against it. I think this Bills year, they're going to show y'all something. Hopefully, I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Diggs fan. I'm an Allen fan. So hopefully, I'm a Von Miller fan. Love Tre'Davious White, Mike Hyde, Jordan Poyer. I love it all. So I'm rooting, and I don't like Aaron Rodgers. So I'll be rooting for the Bills full quarters.
Classic Bears fan right there. I think for me, I think it's just the Jets. It's their first full game, first regular season game with Aaron Rodgers. I think it'll take some time to gel. They are at home, but this Bills team is not a slouch. I mean, they won the division past few years. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, that's a lethal combo. But I mean, that'll be a big matchup. Gardner against Diggs. That could decide the game. If Diggs gets the upper hand, Bills could pull away. But if Gardner continues to be the Gardner of last year, Jets could easily pull out this win. Want to see what happens tonight. It'll be a good
Brees Hall might play today. It's questionable. Man, do not let Brees come back. You got to worry about Garrett Wilson. We have not talked about him yet this show, but Garrett has a QB, and he's going to see the end zone tonight. I want to say twice, but Aaron Rodgers is not going to make the decision that you want him to make. He's going to make the decision that's best for the team. That's why I hate him. He's so good. So Garrett Wilson is a monster, and I wonder who's going to do better between Garrett Wilson and Stephon Diggs. I'm so curious. I can't wait to see what happens.
Up to the corners. To the corners. See.
In a sense, it's up to the corners, but at the end of the day, he's a great wide receiver. They can create as much space as they want.
It's up to the QBs.
I saw Diggs cook Ramsey last year in the opening. So Diggs got it in him. So Sauce, you still new to this. Diggs is true to this. And
I'm also excited to see the addition of Dalvin Cook for the Jets offense. Don't know how many snaps he'll get compared to Brees Hall. I mean, if there'll be an even split or who's going to get the heavier workload, but it'd be interesting to see. And then obviously you got Dalvin Cook's brother on the other side for the Bills, James Cook. I mean, that's a cool little matchup, couple of brothers. They'll play each other twice a year. And we'll see who wins matchup one. We
I-
both got the
I'm
Bills.
I'm expecting to see Trevon Diggs in the stands tonight. I saw Stephon Diggs was in the stands last night to see his brother. I'm expecting to see the other Diggs brothers out there showing some love too.
Sure, I'm sure they will. But stop
It's
this.
time for the game.
Got a
Start
game.
bench cut. All right,
Start
so
pitch cut.
y'all know how this works. We give y'all 3 players. You have to start one, you have to bench one, you have to cut one. This is wide receiver edition. Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins can't guard Michael Thomas. Alex, you have to start one, you have to bench one, you have to cut one. Let's start with the cut.
Tell you right now, the cut, easy choice for me. It's Michael Thomas.
Mm.
It's not the old Michael Thomas. If we're going off of week one numbers, he had a solid game. 5 catches, 61 yards. But Keenan Allen and D Hop have done better in week one. I feel like they've done better for the past couple of years since Michael Thomas has been hurt. So yeah, I think cutting Michael Thomas is probably the easiest choice. Now, who would I start? Who would I bench between Keenan Allen and D Hop? That's tough, man. Because we're talking about this here. We know what Keenan Allen is capable of. Obviously, he's got his own injury history. He's got a good quarterback over there in Justin Herbert. The Chargers offense, like we saw, they can compete in a shootout. And then D Hop, you got the Titans offense with Ryan Tannehill. And we know D Hop, career wise, is better than Keenan Allen. He's been one of the most dominant receivers, even with trash quarterbacks. And he had a good week one, 7 catches, 65 yards, and 13 targets. A lot of those targets probably were forced from Tannehill because he wants him to get the ball.
Definitely forced.
It's tough, man. I think I'll start D Hop or Keenan Allen, but it's close. I don't think D Hop is that far ahead of Keenan Allen at this point in their careers. I know at one point D Hop was that guy, but he's getting up there in age in his 30s. And now he's on the Titans. If he was on a better team, if he was playing with like Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City, this would be a lot easier for me. But this year alone, playing in Tennessee, we'll see how it goes. Right now, I think D Hop I can start over Keenan Allen.
I like that list. I like how you did it. And I actually agree. Every step of the way. Keenan Allen getting cut. Michael Thomas is getting cut. Keenan Allen is getting benched because he is the most underrated wide receiver in this league. Yeah. D-Hop is starting because D-Hop. Nothing else needs to be said. So,
I will say, I think D Hop proved a lot of people wrong. A lot of people say, well, Titans, that's where receivers go to die. We've seen it with, Julio Jones, Andre Johnson. I mean, we've seen good receivers go there and fall off. But D Hop, good week one. Obviously, they didn't pick up the win. Not his fault. 7 catches, 65.
I'll tell you who fault it was right now. It was Ryan Tannehill. I'll tell you who fault it was. I'd never want to see another Ryan Tannehill game, but I had to because I like D-Hop. But man, I was livid. I was texting it in the chat all yesterday. Every time I saw Ryan Tannehill come on that field, I just let everybody in the chat know how bad he was.
Yeah, not a good game.
Terrible.
But I think we'll wrap up and talk about a little bit of Thursday night football coming up this week.
Who's playing this Thursday?
We got Minnesota Vikings, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagle versus the Vikings.
Yeah, I think this is two teams that were lackluster in week one. Obviously, the Vikings lost. The Eagles did pick up the win. But I think both teams could have played a lot better. I think this will be a pretty good game.
You think the Vikings lackluster?
Yeah.
I think they played as good as they'll play all year.
Well, that's coming from a Bears fan. So, can't. But, offense looked good. Vikings offense looked good. Jefferson, 9 catches, 150 yards. Jordan Addison made some big plays, had his first career touchdown. And Kirk Cousins didn't look terrible, 340 yards. Did throw a pick. But like I said, Vikings had 3 turnovers. And the Vikings really don't have a running game. I know Alexander Madison had a touchdown, but he Had like 40 yards rushing. Same with the Eagles, man. They didn't really have a run game either. DeAndre Swift had one carry. Uh, I don't think Rashad Penny played. I think it
They
was
get
pretty much Kenneth Gainwell, but
um
let's see.
usually in real life, you know how this goes. Birds swoop down, the Vikings kill those birds, Eagles, Falcons, whatever it may be. It's not how it's going to go on Thursday. The Eagles will be killing those Vikings. I still want to see more out of the Eagles. Maybe they got to knock the rust off, whatever the case may be.
Case with a lot of teams. Gotta knock that rust off.
But and they're going against a team with a better offense. So the game might be better than I thought. Now that I bring that up. You do have Jordan Addison. You do have Madison. You do have TJ Hawkinson. You do have Justin Jefferson. Whoa.
Yeah.
My opinion might change. It might be changing. But how can you go against Hurts? I mean, the Vikings are now 0-1. You don't think they're about to come out and ball? So,
It'd be a
but
good
no, I'm not switching it up. The Eagles are going to win. It don't matter if they run the ball all game. Don't matter if they pass the ball all game. It don't matter if Jalen Hurts play. It don't matter if he don't if he does or doesn't play. Right. The Eagles are head and shoulders better than the Vikings in every way. Right. You got the QB who can run the ball. Got a strong arm, pretty accurate. You got some great receivers. I just don't see how they lose this game unless Justin Jefferson does what Justin Jefferson does, and just you can't get guarded all game. But I think they have the defense that can make up for it. And I see them. I see the Eagles win. I think it's going to be a good game, though. I do think it's going to be a high scoring game, like in the 30s. But I got the Eagles edging it out.
Yeah, I think it comes down to defense. Eagles have one of the top defenses in the league. I think it'll be fun. Eagles got Darius Slay. I don't think James Bradbury's playing. I think I've seen today he's got some type of injury.
And they lost Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, but I think Darius Slay, man, he's one of my favorite corners. He had a pick six yesterday against Mac Jones and the Patriots. I think two good offenses, maybe could give the edge to the Vikings with Justin Jefferson, maybe. But I mean, the Eagles got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They're no slouch either. I just think the Eagles have a superior defense. And it's their home opener, defending NFC champs, whatever that is worth to people. I think the Eagles win it. Obviously, you'll see our full predictions in the next episode. But I think that's all we got today, man.
All right. Great episode. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Instagram page will be coming up soon. And thank y'all for joining. So until next time, remember, the Bears are the best. We don't like the rest. We out.
I don't know about that. Ravens.